Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So nice to see you. Welcome, first timers. I'm so happy to have you here today. I'm Reverend Dr. Nicole, our assistant minister. Our senior minister is out for the day, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. We are discussing the liberated life. This completes our 4-week series. We've been talking about born to be free. It is our birthright to be free. We looked at the chains we cannot see, the things that keep us stuck in our patterns. We talked about our beloved community, coming together to help lift and bring liberation to each and every one of us. Now, today, we're going to embody it. My life is a liberated life. I spent a lot of time this week reflecting on this because I feel like I've been going through the valley of the shadow these last 2 months. I had an energetic completion of a relationship. I had a dream job I just knew I was going to get, and it didn't come through. Work has been slow. I'm a tennis coach for those who don't know, and who wants to play tennis in 95 degrees in the San Fernando Valley? I've been feeling a little scarcity around finances. How is this going to work out? I just don't know. On Tuesday, my best friend's dad, 96 years old, I've been friends with her for 45 years. He went to the other side of life. It has felt like a nonstop walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I realize that the liberated life doesn't mean I'm winning the lottery. It doesn't mean everything is easy. I was sitting here thinking about a time I was in Vegas. It was a Monday after a holiday weekend. I was playing slots, the small ones, not the expensive ones, and I kept winning. I kept winning, and I kept winning. Then after a while, I got kind of bored. Okay, I won again. There's something about the struggle and strife that keeps me grounded and keeps me moving forward. Before we start, I want to take a moment for us to go inside. Just breathe in and name what's been keeping us chained. Name what's been binding us in this moment. I invite you all to close your eyes if you wish, feet on the floor. Let's begin with a breath. Feel your body in this room, the ground beneath you, your breath moving in and out freely, without effort. Notice that this freedom has already been given. We often wait to feel free, waiting for some day, for some circumstance to change. Spirit is not becoming free somewhere in the future. Spirit is already whole, already liberated, breathing right here, right now. I invite you to let your shoulders relax, let your jaw soften, let the forehead, the crown of your head relax. Not because anything outside of you has changed, but because you are remembering what was never truly lost. You were born free. Simply let's come home to this freedom, this moment, this free moment already within us. And when you're ready, bring yourself back to this room, and we will affirm this together. And so it is. How did that feel? The centering, feeling the energy in this room. There's a peace. Do you feel this peace in the room? As we are walking towards our freedom, walking towards our peace. Every choice matters. Ernest Holmes reminds us we cannot live a choiceless life. Every day, every moment, every second, there is a choice. I was thinking about my friend who flew out from Maryland and her son came with her. He's in his early 30s and he lost his driver's license, left it on the airplane, and he was panicked, freaked out. The world was coming apart. I remember being that age, and if what I've experienced this last couple months were happening to me then, I would have been a mess, going down that rabbit hole. What is going on? Why is this happening? Why is everything happening now? But as I've matured, I've come to understand how my source and my supply work, I feel a lot more liberated. I'm able to walk through these challenges with an open heart, accepting help, accepting guidance, accepting the truth that God has this. I have this. It is the footprints in the sand. I feel like God is carrying me right now, and there's that one set of footprints. I know as I am God in manifestation, I am the one walking through that sand. I was all set and excited to hold our Lionsgate retreat on August 8th, the peak day of that powerful portal. And then my friend's sister said, Dad's funeral is going to be on August 8th. Oh no, how am I going to do my workshop? I can't be in Mendocino and here at the same time. I made a choice. I pivoted. I moved our Lionsgate workshop to August 1st, the week before. What I realized is this was actually a huge blessing, because now we could come together in community, set our intentions, set our manifestation goals, and practice through this big energy portal. Then when the peak day comes on August 8th, while I was overlooking the bluffs in Northern California, we would already have these manifesting goals and affirmations set. I had the choice to be frustrated, to be upset. Instead, I thought, wow, there's a blessing in this timing. Every thought is a choice. The liberated life is built one choice, one thought at a time. Not one dramatic breakthrough, but 1,000 quiet elections of truth. It is my opportunity to choose how I'm going to do this. I'm asking you to ponder, where in your life have you been living choiceless, on autopilot? This is the way my parents did it. This is the way my ancestors did it. This is the way I need to live my life. I get up every morning, I have my coffee, I walk the dog, I read the newspaper. What would happen if I changed that pattern, that choice? I was playing Rummikub with a friend and her family the other day, and we kept going around the table, no moves, no moves. And then I decided to switch the tiles up. I'm not sure I did anything dramatic. I just rearranged them, and suddenly we all had new choices. We were now looking at the same board, but when the tiles were moved around, it looked slightly different. Suddenly, there were new options. I have a choice to do this in my life. Is there somewhere in your life out of habit or old fear where you're not choosing freedom? Have you ever put on one shoe and then the other and changed it around the next day? Brush your teeth with your opposite hand? I remember when I was little, we would go out to get Chinese food, and I would use the chopsticks with my left hand. I'm right-handed normally. My parents were like, come on, Nikki, let's go. But I was going to eat my dinner with my left hand that night. It's those small things, changing things around, looking at something differently, putting on the other shoe. Are you ready to receive abundance? I love this abundance slide. It's the nature of the universe to give us what we are able to take. It cannot give us more. It has given all, and we have not yet accepted the greater gift. Liberation isn't something we're waiting for the universe to give us. The universe has already given us all. The question is, are we able to see it? In Coffee and Earnest today, we talked about this or something better for my highest good. I might think I want a house with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. And the universe says, well, hey, Nikki, what about 4 bedrooms and 3 baths? And maybe you can rent out a room. I wasn't even thinking about that. What's missing isn't the gift, it's our readiness to receive our gift. Are you ready to receive your greatness? Are you ready to receive all that is yours? What is holding you back from living this liberated life? The universe doesn't ration for us. The universe wants to give us what we are ready to accept. And sometimes it's simply responding as our awareness expands. Has anyone ever experienced the thinking, oh, I don't believe it could happen, and then, whoa, how did that happen? Have you had that kind of abundance moment? We are souls having a human experience, And what we get to choose, our soul gets to decide. I heard a quote the other day. Our soul isn't in a race to evolve. Some souls want to get from A to B, A to Z as fast as they can. But our souls are just here going through it. We came here to learn these lessons, and it does not matter when we learn them. I know for me, I feel like I was a slow learner. It took me a while to get to understand things. But I keep taking one step and putting it in front of the other because I came to Earth School to learn. I remember deciding I was going to buy a house. I had no idea how. It was the early 2000s. I think I was paying $500 rent. Remember when rent was $500? I had no idea how I was going to do it. I just started looking. I got out the Thomas Guide. Anyone remember the Thomas Guide? I taped the pages together for the San Fernando Valley and started driving around, crossing out this neighborhood, circling this neighborhood. I was driving around and I put an offer on a house on Stagg Street. I just knew that was my house because my great-grandparents lived on Stagg Street. Obviously, that was the one I was supposed to get. Well, it fell through. I put an offer on another house, and I got it. My next-door neighbor came and introduced themselves. Hi, I'm a tennis coach. I'm Alan. We chatted a bit, and then he came back the next day and said, I Googled your name, and out came the Wine Bistro. I was confused. The Wine Bistro? He said, yes, we spent New Year's Eve together. The very moment I told the universe I was buying a house, I was standing next to the man who would become my next-door neighbor at that same restaurant. His wife remembered talking to me that night because she was a tennis player. I joked with him, why didn't you live in Studio City or Beverly Hills instead of Van Nuys? I thought I was supposed to get the other house, but the universe said, here is this one instead for your greater good. At one point I had buyer's remorse, but I thought I can't have buyer's remorse. The universe put me right here next to someone I was standing to when I told the universe I was going to buy a house. The universe, God, Spirit is always with us. It makes me very humble. Not because I can blame the universe or God, but because of how these circumstances of liberation unfold. The mortgage was 4 times my rent. I had no idea how I was going to do it. I kept paying, and still, I'm in that house today. It was the best thing I ever did. Alan and his wife are now living in Fort Myers, Florida, having a great time sitting on the beach in their retirement years. I have new wonderful neighbors. It just makes me think, wow, this universe, the spirit is so tremendous. All that fear and anxiety about buying the house, it ended up being so simple, easy process in the end. I had to stop trying so hard, let go of that rock. I'm inviting you. Where might you be living smaller than the freedom already offered to you? Maybe you're in an apartment and you want that house. Maybe you have a job but you want that career. Maybe you want to travel but the cost of plane tickets deters you. Points on my credit card to get tickets. That's what our credit cards can be. Our work is not to convince the universe to free us. Our work is to grow into an awareness large enough to recognize that freedom is already around us, and then to live from it. Embracing the sacredness in the ordinary. I'm taking a transcendental class right now. I had to bring a little Ralph Waldo Emerson to our talk today. The great lesson is that the sacred is in the ordinary, that it is found in one's daily life. I think this is such an important point because sometimes I wonder, to be liberated, some great big thing has to happen. I have to have this amazing relationship or land this ideal job. Perhaps it's just an average Tuesday, grabbing a cup of coffee, hiking in the mountains in the evening, maybe standing in the grocery line. I had my Spain jersey on last week during the World Cup. Everywhere I went, people wanted to talk about the World Cup. People I'd never met. Just a simple conversation and cheering on our team. We walked out of lunch the other day after the finals of the World Cup, and a woman was wearing the opposing team's jersey, Argentina, and she walked into the restaurant. We just smiled at each other and said, "Wow, what a great game that was." It's the simple things, a simple conversation, a simple smile. Sometimes the change we don't see are these ordinary, everyday things. How can we find that sacredness in the ordinary day? Washing the dishes, sitting in traffic on the... I remember driving back from Redondo Beach and Waze kept telling me to get off because the construction and the freeway was down to 2 lanes. I thought, there's too much traffic to get off. I'll just stay here. Maybe it'll add a little bit to my drive. It added 45 minutes to my drive. I turned on the 80 station. I rolled down the window. It was about 7:30 at night, a beautiful evening. And I just sat there and sang bumper to bumper. I really had nowhere to be. The extra time was a little annoying, but I had fun. I made my own little house party inside my car on the 405. Sometimes it's in these ordinary moments that we get to be liberated. I could have sat there angry about the traffic, wondering why I didn't follow Waze and get off the freeway, but I made a party instead. Where in your life can you have that party? Liberation is coming into communion with the ordinary. We need to set our boundaries. Has anyone read Brené Brown? Yes, we love Brené Brown. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others. I know for me, this is a big one. I don't want to make people mad. I don't want people to think less of me. And every time I stand up here, I must take a deep breath because I think, what if I don't do a good sermon? What if my talk doesn't resonate? What if everyone just stares at me with blank faces? Thank you, everyone, for smiling. I must set boundaries. I must dare to be great and not worry about what people are going to think of me. That's where my freedom comes. I spent my life in the past, perhaps not speaking my truth. This is what I want to do with my life, but I don't want to upset you. Learning how to speak my truth, learning how to step into who I'm yet to be. I don't even know who that is. Trusting that there's enough love and understanding to go around, even when someone says no. Even if I say no. No is a complete sentence. I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to make excuses. I can't do it because whatever it is. I have to have an excuse of the past. But now I'm doing my best to live up to speaking my truth. This is what I want to do. This is who I am. I want to do this workshop. I want people to come. I don't want to make myself small anymore. The challenging thing to feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. The divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. That's on the first page of the Science of Mind textbook, down in the middle, if I recall correctly. That's our truth. That's who we are. I want to share another way liberation is. My best friend's dad, Richard L. O'Connor, passed away at 96, Wednesday morning at 7:30 a.m. And even this moment of grief, I've witnessed such tender liberation. Long before his passing, he arranged his funeral. He arranged every detail. He was a Hollywood producer. You can understand why he produced everything right down to this. 3 weeks ago, we were all together, and I saw him at the funeral home checking out his own casket. He had such a wonderful sense of humor. I said, "Hey, Dad, do you want to take a test ride?" And he smiled and said, "I'll be in it soon enough." He organized everything for his family. In the end, he gave them liberation. They didn't have to stress or worry about the funeral. He had it all set up. The program, everything. There was nothing left for us to do except come together these last few days and celebrate. I drove down to Palm Springs and we spent the day playing games, talking, laughing, remembering wonderful stories. During that visit, the last time I saw him, he dressed up in drag and lip-synced Christine's Die, All I Ask of You. He gave that gift to his family and friends. Everyone at the party had a great time. We laughed, we sang, and this was his gift of love to all of us, bringing us together. Liberation lived to its final breath, a life so peaceful with its own wholeness that even in death, it gave freedom rather than burden. 96 years of life well lived, capped by one last act of love, organizing everything so his family could simply hold each other. It's not about how we lived, it's about how we prepare to keep living after we're gone. He's on the other side of life now, and I'm sure he's having a grand time. If everyone could stand up for me for just a moment, I'd love to give him a round of applause for a life well lived. Thank you for doing this with me. What might our lives look like if we lived prepared the way Richard did for his family, not leaving a burden, but leaving love for those we cherish? Liberation comes in many forms, in the ordinary, in setting boundaries, or preparing for the next manifestation beyond the veil. I encourage us as we move into this week to really ask, how am I holding myself back from living this divine truth, this divine right, this love that is who I am? It's been a crazy month or two for me, and I'm really seeing how I've moved up the spiral. I've peeled back the onion on how I'm able to handle these things differently. Through trust in spirit, through the trust that God is my source, my supply, is such a powerful way to live. I know I'm going to figure out how to pay my mortgage in the next few days, and it will get paid. I don't have to worry about it, but it will all work out. I know that God's got me. I am God in this manifestation. I'm asking us, what are we holding on to that could be released so we can live this liberated life? Let's take this moment to go inside together, recognizing this one infinite life, this one presence, this liberation, already whole, already free, the very substance of who I am. I know I am this source, and it moves through my breath, my choices, my boundaries, my ordinary days. There's no separation between me and my spirit. There is that silver thread connecting me to my ancestors, both before and my descendants after me, knowing that we are all this one energy. And I am declaring and knowing right now that I am free to live in this sacred, ordinary, liberated life. I am free to set my boundaries, knowing no is a full sentence. I am loving myself as I make these self-honoring choices. Every chain I have ever carried is now simply released into nothingness from which it came. I know that my soul declares my truth, and I am answering it. I am saying yes to this liberated life. With deep thanks for this awareness, for this learning, knowing that we each live with each event, knowing that with each event I am learning, I am connecting more deeply, and I am so grateful. I release my word to the law, and together we say, and so it is. I thank each and every one of you. This has been a very interesting, reflective time for me. I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up here and talk without crying, but the love of my best friend's dad has made me very strong. Let's do some closing affirmations. I am free to choose in this moment and every moment the thoughts and actions that reflect my highest truth. I live that's sacred in my ordinary days, knowing every breath, every task, every moment is holy ground. I love myself enough to set boundaries in peace, trusting that love always makes room for truth. And so it is. I want to send you home with this. You do not have to wait for the liberated life. You are standing in it right now. You are choosing it right now. Live it in the ordinary. Protect it with love. Prepare it as a gift for those who come after you. And watch what Spirit does with the life fully, joyfully unchained. And so it is.